This is absolutely wild. Leaked emails are coming out now showing that Jeffrey Epstein targeted John Mearsheimer because of his book on the Israel lobby and US foreign policy. For those who don't know, you might remember John Mearsheimer from his interview with Tucker Carlson that went viral and got a lot of condemnation by the pro-Israel side because he just called out the Israel lobby for what it is. Take a listen to this short clip here just to get a feel for John Mearsheimer.
That's like so far from what I heard as a child that's obvious. What? All the Christians were kicked out? All these Christians were kicked out of their historic homelands there. And of course, many more Muslims. And did that really happen? I mean, people just have no idea what the facts are. It's kind of interesting.
Yes, well, the lobby went to great lengths to make sure that you didn't know the facts.
And anyone who said the facts out loud was like a lunatic or a jihadist or a hater of some kind.
An anti-Semite.
Yeah.
Self-hating Jews. It's very interesting. I often think about my own evolution in this regard. When I grew up as a kid,
I'll just stop right there, but you might have now remembered his face and who he really is. Well, these leaked emails that are coming out showed that when John Mearsheimer wrote his initial book on the Israel lobby back in 2006, Jeffrey Epstein actually asked his lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, to counter it by putting out a critique of it and using his influence to basically defame the book. So Dropsite News uncovered emails from Epstein's account showing he assisted Harvard professor Alan Dershowitz in responding to the 2006 paper, The Israel Lobby and U.S. Foreign Policy by John Mearsheimer and Stephen Walt. The paper claimed pro-Israel groups shaped U.S. Middle East policy against national interests, drawing fierce criticism and institutional backlash. Epstein, with deep Harvard ties through donations and managing Les Wexner's Foundation's gifts, called Dershowitz's critique terrific and began sharing it before its April 10th publication. The same day, Epstein also forwarded damaging details about an accuser in his own sex abuse scandal. So, pretty crazy stuff. Here's Ryan Grime stating the same exact thing we just kind of mentioned. What's going on is that John Mearsheimer, who's also, I believe he's Jewish, either him or who else that heavily criticizes Israel. The name's gonna come to me. Regardless, he writes this book on the Israel lobby, and after he writes this book, back in 2006, this book went so viral and got so much criticism. Of course, getting the accusations of being anti-Semitic, simply for stating that Israel has too much undue influence in the US government, stating that it has a loose network that puts hit pieces out in the media to go after anybody that criticizes Israel. And the book actually proved its point, because after it was released, the amount of condemnation and blowback they received because of publishing the book proved everything that the book stated, that a loose network will go after you and put hit pieces out in the media to attack you if you criticize US foreign policy or the Israel lobby, or how they have undue influence on our politicians to shift not just foreign policy, but also domestic policy. Because what we're seeing is if you criticize Israel, you'll get attacked. And there are laws to stop American citizens from boycotting Israel or face repercussions if so. There was even a law, some of you might remember, earlier this year, and it drew fierce condemnation from Trump's base after it showed that FEMA funds would be withheld from states that decide to boycott Israel. So if your home was damaged because of a hurricane, the FEMA funding to your state could have been withheld if your state decided to not work with Israeli companies. Of course, people hearing that would be like, that's absolutely ridiculous. Why does it matter if my state doesn't pledge allegiance to a foreign country if it's hit by a hurricane? The federal government's not going to pay me to recover and help American citizens? Nope, I guess not. That's at least not what the US law under the Trump administration thought. And also under the Biden administration, too. It really doesn't matter if you're left wing or right wing. The Israel lobby is very powerful to push these sort of measures. Of course, these boycott laws really came into place after the BDS movement, boycott, divestment, and sanctions, back in 2014, 2015. the movement started to make a lot of traction. There was a lot of advocacy to boycott Israeli companies. And because of that advocacy, the Israel lobby went in hyperdrive to try to make boycotting Israel illegal, boycotting a foreign country illegal. Now, of course, if you boycott American companies, that's completely fine. There's no law saying that you can't boycott American companies or face repercussions. But if you boycott companies to a foreign country, well, absolutely not. That's not okay. Apparently, that's anti-Semitic as well, as John Mearsheimer and a lot of others pointed out. This is the power of the lobby. And then if you call out the fact that the lobby controls our politicians, you're accused of hating a specific group of people. You're accused of hating Jewish people because you're calling out the undue influence that the lobby has on US foreign policy. It's absolutely wild. We do live in a different time now, and people are really starting to kind of wake up to the ridiculousness of this all, but it's still very much so ingrained in American society. So others on social media are saying the same thing. Jeffrey Epstein assisted a campaign attacking John Mearsheimer and Stephen Walt over their 2006 work. Epstein was a powerful figure at Harvard via his donations, reviewed multiple early drafts of an article by Alan Dershowitz attacking the article as anti-Semitic, of course, and it received a lot of blowback. Let's see what else it says. He helped circulate copies inside his powerful social network to whip up a backlash against the scholars. That's always how it works. They really do work as a concerted mob. It's a mafia, honestly. They work like a mafia. They will assemble together and they will figure out a way to destroy your career, to accuse you of being a hater, of being an anti-Semite, to put you in prison. I truly do not believe there is any boundaries as to how far they'll go. There is no boundaries. They will go as far as they need to try to take you down. We've seen that over and over and over again. If you criticize Israel and you're an actor or actress, you'll get your roles revoked and you'll lose deals, just like the actress from the movie Scream. Same sort of thing. If you're a singer, the same exact thing. People are so terrified to speak out, not as much anymore, but especially prior to October 7th, because if they did, it was career suicide. And it's so obvious and apparent. So again, Dropsite News posted the same thing here, and they said in this new investigation, they discovered that Alan Dershowitz orchestrated the smear campaign against John Mearsheimer and Stephen Walt back in 2006. The scholars had argued in the paper that a network of pro-Israel donors and advocacy groups routinely pulled U.S. Middle East policy away from what was truly in America's interests. Their analysis triggered a fierce backlash. Institutions denounced them as anti-Semites. The Atlantic killed the article, and the Kennedy School stripped its logo from the paper. That's how wild this is. Just so you guys know, search up John Mearsheimer. The guy is very well respected, very high IQ guy, like super intelligent when it comes to really just what's going on in U.S. foreign policy. I love listening to him. Also, something, last name is Sachs. Jeffrey Sachs, is it? I believe it's Jeffrey Sachs. He's also somebody that I really like listening to, and they both have no problem calling out the lobby. Anyways, emails from Epstein's Yahoo account shows him reviewing early drafts of the attack piece, accusing the authors of recycling neo-Nazi trash and agreeing to distribute it through his network. That's how wild it is. You call out the Israel lobby, a foreign country's lobby, and they accuse you of being a neo-Nazi. What on earth is going on, dude? Seriously. And keep in mind that Barry Weiss, you might remember Barry Weiss, the new editor-in-chief of CBS News. She got that title because she was just chosen by David Ellison after he bought CBS News. So it was very much so just a DEI thing for her, basically. It just put in a Zionist that fits that position great. She said that CBS News should focus on uplifting charismatic individuals and personalities like Alan Dershowitz, Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer. That's who is a charismatic personality in her eyes. There's a complete takeover of the U.S. government. There's a complete takeover of our institutions by a group of pro-Israel billionaires and backers. And it's to the point where you feel like you can't breathe with it. It's so irritating. And people who previously loved and supported Israel, like Megyn Kelly, for example, she's even said the more that they try to push Israel on her, the more she is getting annoyed with it and wants to go the other way. She said that a few weeks ago. Of course, Charlie Kirk, prior to his assassination, he said he's going to leave. He has no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause because, again, this mob mentality going after him for hosting and platforming certain individuals that they don't like. We'll see how things unfold moving forward. If you found this video interesting, please make sure to click the subscribe button below and give this video a thumbs up. It helps my channel grow and reach more people just like you. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.